And we're live.
Hey, and welcome to another exciting pirate news. We're coming to you live here in Massachusetts. With me is the one, the only, the mighty Malt.
Damn it. Ah, sorry.
And this, well, and of course, we also have stupendous Steve with us.
Hello.
And do not forget our fearless leader, the one, the only, the Mr. O'Keefe.
Ahoy.
And of course, I, being your quartermaster and keeper of the books, Joseph, am here with you always. So tonight we only had one really big but really important thing to talk to you about, and that was this new bill that Charlie Baker is trying to push through, which is completely, even though they completely admit that you spying on people is bad, will hurt the Commonwealth, they want to be able to do it with due process, which means the boys club gets to go ahead and spy on you. Uh, Gentlemen, thoughts, prayers.
The police do not need new tools. There are there are laws in place. There are systems in place where they can surveil homes. They can track geofence phones. They can follow you in whatever you're doing. They do not need the power to eavesdrop you as well. They don't need more power to spy. Massachusetts has a fantastic privacy law. We're one of the few states in the country that has two-party consent when it comes to recorded phone calls. And the police, they just don't need new tools. End of story.
So a little history. This law that's in effect as far as the wiretap and Massachusetts happens to be one of the strictest states when it comes to uh, authorization because we're a state that unless all parties agree to being recorded, you just can't do it. If you want to record the cops, you want to record other people. I personally was having a tough time with an ex, and I wanted to record them, and it was completely everyone's like, "No, bad idea." And I looked into the law, and it's completely terrible.
Yeah, well, the secret with the law is that you cannot make secret recordings. So
Mm-hmm.
if you start recording a person, you have to let them know you're doing it. They might not like it, but then they have to leave. You can keep recording as long as you're open that you're doing it.
But
Cops don't have to leave, though,
Yeah,
right.
that's true.
but they still get recorded.
Hmm.
The last time the law was amended was in 1968. And as it exists now, it specifies that it only applies to individuals engaging in organized crime. So I suggest you stop being organized and start being much more chaotic with your crimes.
Well, I'm going to play devil's advocate a little bit. So I think there are some things in this bill that I do like. So section one, the third paragraph talks about, that the general court finds that the uncontrolled development and unrestricted use of modern electronic surveillance devices pose grave dangers to the privacy of all citizens of the Commonwealth. Therefore, the secret use of such devices by private individuals must be prohibited. The use of such devices by law enforcement officials must be conducted under strict judicial supervision and must be limited to the investigation of designated offenses as defined in subparagraphs such and such of this section.
But
Just give you one more second. I mean, that is sort of a heck of a statement for I'm glad to see that statement in there about the need for privacy. Now, if you're telling law enforcement that they can only do this under strict judicial supervision and under a set of specifically named circumstances, what's the objection? Again, I'm playing devil's advocate, but let's
I
hear
have
it.
an objection. If the police can do it, private citizens should be able to do it as well. Like, it should be authorized that private citizens can investigate crimes that are affecting them or that they are involved in, like for whistleblower protections. Like if you are part of a farm that's violating environmental law, you should be able to collect the information to prove that.
Mm.
But like that paragraph 1 says that private citizens just don't get it. And I have an issue with that.
I don't know if they'd necessarily get it under the current wiretap law because of the two-party requirement.
Right. They don't. But if we are going to update the law, then we should update it for private citizens as well.
Mhm.
Like, and I agree with you. There are some parts of this law that I do agree with. It specifies that the order is only good for 40 days or until like a specific piece of information is captured. My problem is the people who wrote the law are not going to be the ones who use it. And we know Boston PD, Massachusetts State Police, Worcester Police Departments are not trustworthy. They lie, they cheat, they steal, they engage in like gang style actions against individuals who speak out against them. They can't be trusted. The police in Massachusetts cannot be trusted to follow this law as it's written.
Yeah, I know that in a Boston.com, in a Boston Globe article, Cade Crockford from the ACLU, who I have a great deal of respect for, she is opposed to this. I'd like to understand more about the ACLU's position, because I mean it's a short article, it's a soundbite, and it doesn't really get into the nuts and bolts of it. I have the feeling that the list of crimes where a list of crimes where that would be subject to investigation with surveillance. I suspect the objection might be something to do with that list, but it's not obvious to me just off the bat what that would be.
And we should talk about the list of crimes that's covered. One thing I noticed, it does not include drug trafficking, but it does include a very broad definition of enterprise or organized crime. But other than that, it's limited primarily to weapons trafficking, human trafficking, rape, and intimidation of court officers, including judge, jury, witnesses, parole officers, so on and so forth.
I mean, there's a terrorism part in there when they talk
right.
about use of radiological, biological, or chemical weapons.
Oh, and the caveat, civil rights violation causing bodily injury. So
Probably not the cops, though.
Yeah. I mean, that obviously refers to hate crimes. I'm curious if this gets passed, can people use this to prove that police officers are engaged in white nationalist activities that disproportionately impact leftist protesters?
Well,
again,
oh, go ahead. I was just trying to pull it apart within the framework. You do need, it does require judicial review and a warrant. So the investigating party would have to be someone who can go ahead and get a warrant. But that would it theoretically allow an internal investigations bureau to investigate police? I mean, maybe. I'm not completely sure.
And that is something we should consider going forward with these laws, is how can we agitate for them to be used to investigate the right-wing fascist presence we know exists in law enforcement.
So another thing I'll point out, and I went back and looked at these things keep coming back. And back in 2013, the then Attorney General, I think it was Martha Coakley, had put forward similar changes, although they were probably more drastic. For example, there was something here to legalize mass interception of communications at telecommunications switching stations
No,
rather
no,
than
no.
through individual wiretaps on individual phone numbers, which I don't think is in this bill. But one of the things both bills share, besides the removing the organized crime as the only requirement, is it doubles the length of an authorized wiretap from 15 to at least 30 days.
Okay, so that is that I will agree that is a regression.
And also, all of the stuff that this prohibits is still allowed at the federal level. So if you are committing a serious enough crime, the federal forces are probably going to discover you before the states do. Just anyway. I think this bill is also there was an attempt to update this in 2017 that didn't pass. And like when it comes down to it, the final point is the police don't need this. If a crime is serious enough, there are other existing ways to deal with it. This is not going to be protective of anyone who's watching this stream. Anyone have any fun plans for the weekend?
I have tomorrow off.
That's nice.
Yes, there should be more such days off.
So, what do we know about the level of support this has in the legislature?
Seems like the news media is all supporting it.
I mean, like, we're looking at a full court press as far as internet freedom crackdowns are concerned. Like, there's this, there's Earn It, there's who knows what else is going on at the White House to deal with. Like, crypto, as much as I rag on crypto, I do think that crypto is being kind of used as like the financial child porn as far as excuses to expand legislative powers. And this is succeeding because the crypto sphere is utterly overrun by hucksters and scam artists. So like, good work, guys. You deserve all the consequences of your actions.
What about NFTs?
I mean, I believe there was another set of NFTs that were stolen quite easily through some
OpenSea.
or somewhere. Yeah, OpenSea got hacked or something.
They didn't even get hacked. Nothing untoward happened. What happened was the smart contract people signed was blank. And then once it was filled in after they signed it, they were allowed to just take all their shit. So
Wait, you mean they updated the contract after people had signed it?
yeah.
Well, that's a problem.
Yeah. The thing about it is like, if code is law, if you accept that maxim, you have to accept the consequences of this theft. The NFTs belong to those other people now. The code is law. You signed the code.
There's sort of like I think another analogy might be, someone uses a whole bunch of JavaScript libraries that are open, hosted somewhere else, and the person who's hosting them somewhere else decides to either take them away or put a crypto miner in it.
Yeah, back in the days, you used to have to pay to host an image. If someone was leeching that image, you'd replace it with Goatsy. Like, I can't tell you how many times that happened to Cracked. Like, someone would post a link like, "Hey, this website is leeching all of our images and stealing all of our shit." 5 minutes later, website's full of Goatsies. Street justice, baby.
Well, that being said, thank you. If you are all for street justice, then definitely like, subscribe, and leave comments below. We want to hear your comments about what time you were involved in some street justice.
It's not street justice, man. It's lulls. Lulls.
So one thing we didn't start with that we should just mention is at our next Pirate Moot this upcoming Saturday at noon. I'll put a link in the description. Just show up. You know, be responsible, be respectful of the other participants, you know, of course. And if you're not, we'll dump you. So, but you know, it's come here to talk and chat with us and about planning, you know, our activities for the spring. And with that, Joe, I'll leave the rest of it to you.
And I will actually probably attend this one.
Woohoo!
But yeah, no, we definitely want to hear from you in the audience. We love hearing from you, so definitely give us those comments. It feeds the algorithm, and we are continuing to grow more members. It's a bit slowly, but we continue to grow more members every week. So we definitely love hearing from for what you have to say, and keep on doing what we do. Thank you, gentlemen.
Thanks a lot, folks. We're clear.